pledge allegiance, and then we'll have a moment of silence for our men and women in uniform. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Pat, can I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Birdsall? Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Floral?
Here.
Ms. Galloway? Mrs. Miller? Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Storr? Here. Mr. Chairman, there are 4 board members present, therefore there is a quorum.
Good, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting?
Also move. I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Cumberland County. Okay, the mayor could not be here today. He had another commitment. He did say something about a representative from his office would be here. Is that? Oh, there she is. Hi. If you have anything that you want to pass on to the mayor, hook up with her after the meeting, and she can get your information or your questions or whatever to the mayor. I do notice one of our commissioners is here. Carl, do you have anything to share with us?
I don't have anything, but I would entertain any questions if anybody has any.
Yeah, that's easy. Okay, President's Report, June 27th. What was going to happen isn't. As in 2014, 2017, and now 2019, our board election has gone uncontested, so it will not be necessary to hold an election again this year. There has been speculation as to why this is happening so frequently of late. There are those who point to the system they say is broken and discourages those who would put their name up for the election. I prefer to believe it's because the majority of our members are pleased with the club's direction and are busy enjoying retirement and recreational opportunities available to them here in the Glade. Why get involved in a system that unfortunately has become so political in nature? In any case, we welcome Jeannie, Barb, and Misty back to the board for another term. We are indeed fortunate to have a timeshare representative and a developer representative who, even though they are not required to be, are both club members as well. Barb and her husband call Fairfield Glade home. Misty literally grew up here and is an owner of several properties. There was a motion made and passed in yesterday's workshop dealing with the non-judicial foreclosure amendment. The non-judicial foreclosure amendment, which we still believe is a good idea, will not be voted on this year because of the expense of the community-wide vote. The county has stepped up once again. I am sure you have all heard that the county has chosen to implement a county-wide first responder program, which is great news for Fairfield Glade. This is a county program and not a Fairfield Glade program. So it is important to understand that the rumors suggesting Fairfield Glade will be excluded from this county program are untrue. In fact, we currently have 3 certified first responders living here in the Glade and hope that our first responder tuition assistance program announced last week will result in an even greater number of resident first responders. It takes a village to make a community. Our magnified article last week centered on Fairfield Glade Community Club divisions and their employees. Some have asked, why did it not include the Fairfield Glade Fire Department? That's a good question. The Fairfield Glade Fire Department is a valuable part of our community, and we gratefully appreciate all they do for us. However, they are a separate 501c3 organization and not a division of the community club. Since they are not a division of Fairfield Glade Community Club, we did not include them. We have other great groups that make up our extended family, and were not mentioned in this particular article either. These would include Fairfield Glade Resident Services, our neighborhood watch groups, the Art Guild, and last but not least, all our community members who donate so much time and effort to various endeavors within the Glade. I am sure this extended family members will be recognized in a future magnified article. And that's all I have across the board. Thank you. Are there any questions? Manager's report.
Okay, thank you. At the police department, the generator for the building has now been installed and is operational. So I'm glad to see that, especially with the storms we've been having of late. Robin Hood Park, we now own the 7 acres south of the existing Robin Hood Park. The Major Capital Projects Committee will now be working with the land planner to update the conceptual plans for that. Also be working with the strategic planning committee as they deliberate as to what things should be included in that conceptual plan for the future. Now, given the construction in that area, that park is closed. It will remain closed until construction is complete in that area. So for the 4th of July fireworks, we're still going to shoot off the fireworks down there, but we're not going to allow any people to go down there and watch the fireworks from Robin Hood Park. So please find other areas in the Glade. I would encourage y'all to come up to Legends and enjoy the barbecue buffet from 3 to 9 p.m. And then it's a great viewing area from the lawn outside of Legends as well. The Stonehenge Turf Care Center will be having an open house this afternoon from 1 to 4 p.m. There is limited parking around the facility, so I'd encourage y'all to park at Stonehenge Clubhouse, and then we'll have the bus to shuttle people back and forth to the facility. Some deferred maintenance. The lake desilting process will start by July 1st. They're mobilized and could even start as early as tomorrow. Per Scott Blaylock, the county road superintendent, the county chip and seal program for some of our roads will start July 18th. They've had some delays due to weather. They've had to do some storm damage cleanup and things of that nature, so that's the reason for the delay. Fortunately, the gravel is already on site though, so that's a good thing to see. Then our asphalt paving is almost complete. We just have a couple roads to finish there. Year-to-date golf rounds for last month were 44,500. That's 1,200 fewer than budget, but 3,400 more than 2018. So that's good to see, and that's really thanks to the better weather we've had this year. Timeshare and member rounds are the main categories that are lower than budget, but fortunately the higher paying package rounds are more than budget, so that's kind of offset some of that loss of revenue. Our fish fry will be returning to St. George Marina on Sunday, June 30th. That's this Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. That'll kind of kick off our 4th of July festivities. We plan to have a nautical themed F&B event each month there. So it's not going to be a weekly fish fry, but once a month, probably towards the end of the month, we'll have a nautical theme event. So be on the lookout for those in the future. And don't forget the fire department's pancake breakfast. That will be Saturday, July 6th. So it's not this Saturday, but it's the Saturday after 4th of July. And again, that's from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Then last item, we'll be closing the CCC pool July 22nd. To begin the work on the pool shell and the deck. And that work was previously approved by the board, and will probably be closed until the middle of September. We're doing it now because we have 2 outdoor pools, so people can use those pools, obviously weather permitting. So really believe that this is the best time to do that. And those 2 pools will stay open until we complete the project. So even if it goes into the middle of September, they'll still stay open. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Resort report, Barbara.
Good morning.
Morning.
Wyndham timeshares year-to-date is 17,238, and month-to-date 3,666. I checked and they told me they were at 91% occupancy at the present time. As far as revenues, the conference center year-to-date is 4,380, which is 4% of like revenue. Dartmoor is 3,100, which is 4%. Dartmoor is 15,000, which is 19%. St. George is 7,500, 10%. Golf, 285,600, which is 14%. And food is 44,500. and it's 6%. Total is 360,340, which averages out to 12%. We're down about 9,000 from last year, and I don't know if anyone's noticed, the Wyndham timeshare guests are now wearing wristbands, either blue or orange, which designates that they are Wyndham timeshare visitors, so we'll be able to track things a little bit better. Thank you.
Thank you. Architectural control, John. I expected Bill, but that's okay. I just wanted to explain, you know, this is Bill Murphy and I. Bill has been doing this report for years, and Bill and I have a similar taste in shirts. Major difference is I get mine from the Walmart on the 4-lane, and he gets his from Jamaica. So, they're the real thing, and mine are not. John.
Okay, good morning. This report is a summary report, and it's year-to-date numbers for this year and miscellaneous approvals, and those are basically existing homes where we're doing exterior modifications or homes that are still under construction where we've had changes to those homes. We have a total of 673 of those this year so far, year-to-date, and that compares to 573 last year, so we've been a little bit busier this year than we were last year in that regard. New homes, year-to-date, 46. Last year at the same time, 43. So again, a few more new homes that we're seeing being constructed. The startups this year so far, 48, and a year ago was 42. And new homes completions, 28 this year, last year 23. And just one more thing, and that is that we will be replacing some of our committee members, so we will be soliciting for candidates to be interviewed for that if anyone's interested. There's a form somewhere, I'm not sure just where that is.
Yeah, just check at the ad building and they have the forms there.
Okay, then we'll be happy to take your application. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Any questions?
And that form is also on the website in the member section.
Okay, monthly financial report, Denise.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, look at the balance sheet first, and we are still financially strong. Sewer has cash, of $2 million, and the owner's equity is $12,700,000 roughly. If you come over to the capital column, the cash and cash equivalents is $1.9 million, and our members' equity is $34.8 million. For operations, cash and cash equivalents is $2.3 million, and members' equity is $34.5 thousand. If you come over to the next column, you'll see POA and amenities together. Cash and cash equivalents is $4.2 million, and members' equity is $34.8 million. Next sheet I'll talk about is your cash flow from operations and capital activities. Come down to the subtotal line for POA, and operations is $524,000 net result, with a variance to budget of $149,000. Go over to the last column and you'll see cash flow from POA is $1.4 million. Come down to the next subtotal area and you'll see a subtotal for amenities. We are negative for operations, $487,000, with a positive variance to budget of $156,000. Come all the way over to the last column for cash flow, you'll see we are negative $1.6 million overall for cash flow. The next row down is POA and amenities combined. From operations, we have positive $47.6 thousand, which is a positive variance to budget of $305,000. Come over to cash flow and you'll see we're negative $208,000. Then for sewer, you'll see that we are positive $372,000 for operations and a positive variance to budget of 31.3 thousand. Come over to cash flow and they're positive 135,000. Any questions? No, that's two in a row.
You're on a roll.
I'm on a roll. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Denise. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, we do have a PR for sewer installation for Chestnut Ridge Development. Bruce, if you could explain that.
This is a PR for sewer installation for the 60 new lots in Phase 1 of Chestnut Ridge development up on the bluffs. It's $92,662 to put the sewer in with all the stubs to service each lot. And those lots will be charged an availability fee which will cover the $92,000 plus some. So we'll get the money back. It's just the cost to install the sewer and new development. Make it available.
Thank you. I might add as a caveat here, we were fortunate enough as a board to, as a group, went and toured Bruce's facility. If you ever get a chance to go out there, it's one heck of an impressive operation. We thank you for everything you do for us.
Thank you very much.
I think there's a question in the back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Chestnut Hill Ridge, or Chestnut Ridge, can you, I haven't been up there, can you locate it?
Yeah, it's adjacent to, it's just past Good Samaritan on Catoosa, on the same side as Good Samaritan.
Okay,
There's two phases. The first phase is 60 lots.
okay,
The infrastructure is being put in the ground right now. The road's been built. Gas is being installed today, as you know, until they finish. Electric has been installed, water has been installed, and now sewer is being installed. And so that will be 60 lots of Fairfield homes.
we can drive up there and see anything.
It's
there?
kind of muddy. The road has not been gravelled yet. It's simply, they cut the road through the woods and started putting the utilities in. So there's a lot of construction activity going on right now, but, yes, sir.
How many residential lots are in Fairfield Glade? How many can have the sewer in the road or on the property? And how many lots don't have any sewer? Did you get the rough figure?
Boy, I would say probably 55% of all the lots, or 60% of all the lots in Fairfield are sewer right now. That would be my best guess. How many lots that is?
We've got about 18,000 total lots that have been platted here. We've got about a little over 5,100 homes. And I think in terms of sewer, of that 5,100, I think it's in the 4,000, 4,500 range.
That are actually connected. Those are connections.
Yeah, I think too, there's roughly 600 people on septic
Right.
in the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which we're, I'm sure, trying to slowly convert over.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd like to see that over time.
Anything else, Bruce? Okay, thank you, Bruce.
Thanks.
Can I have a motion for the PR of $92,662 for Chestnut Ridge Development?
I so move.
Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Fairfield Glade Resident Services, Pat.
It's an all-time record today.
All depends on you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ruin that.
You got a minute and a half.
Okay. Actually, we're moving into the dog days of July. Things will be a little quiet for FGRS. We have a comedy show that was very, very successful back in May, and we appreciate all the support. And coming up in August, we will be having our concert put on by Bryce McDonald, and it'll be an evening with Elvis Presley. And that'll be on August 22nd and 23rd. Also, in conjunction with that concert, we're going to be selling a wildlife calendar, which is being honchoed by Mary Nissen, and I did see some of the pictures. They're phenomenal. As you well know, we have a lot of wonderful wildlife photographers living here in the Glade. And so we're looking forward to that. It'll be a nice fundraiser for us. August 5th, you should really make a point of trying to attend it. We have a CIE, a community information event at the conference center from 9 to 12, and it's 5 wishes. And I brought this up before, and quite frankly, you know, we're all in God's waiting room here, and you should do your best to prepare yourself. And, you know, you have an obligation with your children, but also what we would like to have you do is make sure that you stay in touch with the police department, get them a key, and give them some information about yourself so that if something should happen, it doesn't come as a surprise. And the chief would appreciate it, he really would, because these guys are not mind readers. And you know, we do have some people, unfortunately, who live alone, things happen to them, so we'd like you to keep an eye out on them and help the police department out also out on that. Don't forget the upcoming pancake breakfast. And finally, we know we've made it. FGRS made Conrad tours.
Had to say it, didn't you, Pat?
Pardon me?
Had to say it, didn't you?
Yes, I did. We're bordering on starting. Hey, any questions? Okay, we always need volunteers. Stop by and see us.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Comments from the floor. If you have some questions or comments, if you'd like to come up to the microphone, introduce yourself, give you a few minutes. Okay. Comments from the board. I have one. Okay, I really do not like going there. First, let me be perfectly clear. These are my personal comments and not necessarily those of the entire board. I do hope they agree, but this is coming from me, since it has been my honesty that has been brought into question. Over the last 5 years, all preceding board presidents have gotten to the point where they have felt it necessary to make statements such as follows, and I find I am in no different situation. Usually I'm not one to respond to comments in the media, but I have decided to put that practice aside for a moment. Several weeks ago, in one of our local publications, it was stated, please read the October 3rd, 2018 Glade Sun article, where Mr. Smith, referring to Cumberland County EMS response times, said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I went to that edition of the Glade Sun and found where, in response to a question as to whether our club charter should be amended or rewritten, I said, we have checked with our lawyer, there is nothing wrong with our charter is fine. If we choose, we can fund the fire department, fund an ambulance, and fund the police department. So my take on it is, there is an old adage that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I see nothing wrong with our charter and do not believe it has to be amended. Nothing in my answer was referring to EMS response times. I did respond to this individual and asked that if he wants to quote me, at least be accurate. I received nothing back. 2 weeks ago, while I was up in Michigan visiting my family, I was the point of a discussion in the same publication by another member of the same group. There were several misleading statements in his letter as well. The letter was mostly his opinion with no facts, which is fine with me. We all have our own opinions. However, the letter ended with something I found offensive. Mr. Smith, if you are going to speak about something, at least be knowledgeable, honest, and at least feign concern for Fairfield Glade residents. My response to this individual was, I won't even attempt to discuss knowledge and concern. Those statements are just ridiculous. But just a warning, do not ever question my honesty. That is something I will not tolerate. This individual responded, I don't believe I called you a lawyer. More like ignorant. Now, he did paraphrase, meaning unaware of the facts, so that calmed down a little bit. An old college professor of mine once taught me that in politics, if you can't attack the message, the next best thing is to attack the messenger. It is sad that by volunteering to give back to this great community that we all live in and love, we are also forced to accept this type of treatment from some of our residents. These are the same people that constantly say they are the only ones concerned about our safety and our future. It is sad that a board president has to take time to respond to this type of behavior. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not asking or expecting that all agree with what I or the board say or do. Quite honestly, that would not be healthy if it happened. But I do think it's not inappropriate to ask that if you do disagree with us, do not also attack our integrity or motives. Now, I know there are those out there that say this is something that goes with the job. But just a thought. Maybe this type of behavior is why people are thinking twice before volunteering to run for the board. Why should any sane person spend their retirement years putting up with these kinds of attacks? I'm sure these comments will generate some more inflammatory statements, but unfortunately, that is the nature of the beast and has become the norm. Thank you. Any other comments from the board? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Also move.
Second?
I'll second.
We're adjourned.